What's good, everybody? The Grizzlies scored 140 points against the San Antonio Spurs last night to get their second runaway win in a row against the Spurs, and I'm going to talk to you all about it. My name is Uncle Buck. I am a co-host of the Two Buck Sports Show. It airs every single Tuesday and Thursday at noon on Bluff City Media's channels. Come check us out. But I'm here to talk to you tonight about the 140-112 win over the San Antonio Spurs. Listen, unfortunately, before the game even started, you got dealt your first bit of bad news, and that's Ja Morant was not going to play last night, and that stinks for a couple reasons. One, that's his 18th game that he's missed, and that makes it impossible for him to reach the 65-game threshold to make him eligible for any sort of postseason award. So good news for the Western Conference guards, I suppose. Ja Morant is now ineligible to win any sort of postseason award, including All-NBA, Most Improved, Comeback Player of the Year, whatever. You're not going to get it if you don't play 65 games. He's not going to make it to that number. But the Grizzlies did play basketball tonight, and they played very well. Like I said, 140-112. That's a blowout win. But at halftime, it was close. At halftime, it was a 2-point Spurs lead, only for, in the second half, the Grizzlies to outscore the Spurs 78-48. Outscored them by 30 points in the second half, and en route to just an absolute bloodbath for the Spurs. And we could get into a lot of the stats. The Grizzlies, as you do with most 28-point wins, dominated the stats. The Grizzlies shot 57% from the field and 43% from three, as opposed to the Spurs 47% from the field and 36% from three. We talk about turnovers a lot. The Grizzlies dominated the turnover battle 17-7, and they neutralized Victor Wembanyama for the second game in a row. Victor had a double-double, which it'd be shocking if he didn't. But he had 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 blocks. He was a minus 17 on the game. The Grizzlies did really well. To get to some Grizzlies stats really quick, you talk about the big two. Desmond Bane had a rough start to the game, but he did catch fire late. He finished with 22, 6 rebounds, and 14 assists. That was the big number of the day. Desmond Bane did a really good job getting people open, despite early in the game not looking for his shot, which is something I've talked about. I wish that he would do more of. He's got to look for his shot. Jaren Jackson Jr. got in some foul trouble, picked up his 4th foul about midway through the third quarter, so he sat a good bit, but he ended up playing 26 minutes. He scored 19 points. He had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. Not good shooting night. 8 of 20 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3. But he kind of got his points when it mattered, as the Grizzlies were taking the lead and extending it in the third quarter and putting it out of reach. Jaren Jackson Jr. did contribute to that. But I wanted to spend most of my time talking about 3 role players in particular. 3 guys that are not mentioned enough, I don't believe, and somehow become underrated. The first one being Santi Aldama. Santi Aldama in 30 minutes scored a career-high 29 points. He also had 8 rebounds, which is a number that is very good. And a rebound, we got to have guys that rebound on this team, big guys. And Santi Aldama has shown time and time again that he is capable of doing that. And remember, the Spurs has a dude that's 7'4" that's trying to rebound the same ball. And so Santi Aldama coming up with 8 of those rebounds was really good. He shot 53% from the field. That's 10 of 19. And he shot 5 of 12 from 3. But he absolutely caught fire in that third quarter. He was essential in putting that game away and putting it out of reach for the San Antonio Spurs. Santi Aldama, in this, what I've called the communist offense, where everybody gets their slice of pie. Everybody's going to get shots. Everybody's going to get looks, and it's a very European-style offense. And I don't feel like it's a stretch to say that the European dude would benefit the most. The guy who's played a European ball from the time he was born. Santi Aldama has been absolutely amazing. And tonight was just an absolute masterclass from Santi Aldama. 10 out of 10. No notes. He was just really good tonight. Jaylen Wells had a slump buster tonight. He's kind of been iffy with his shot. He's not let it affect his defense, which is great. But he has not had his shot in recent days and weeks. And tonight he finished with 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He shot 73% from the field and 6 of 8 from 3. So Jaylen Wells just had an absolutely stellar game, including one of those threes using Victor Wembanyama's patented 1-foot fadeaway 3 in Victor Wembanyama's face. So Victor Wembanyama, no one was more excited that Ja Morant didn't play than Victor Wembanyama, but he didn't realize that Jaylen Wells was going to do his move in his face. And so that got me out of my seat. In a game that was a blowout, that move did get me out of my seat. But the third person I want to speak about is someone that is constantly, for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, been trade fodder. And he's become unappreciated. And I feel like everybody just kind of accepted the fact that one day Brandon Clarke will get traded. I've been that guy. But I'm going to tell you right now, I found myself kind of locking in on Brandon Clarke needs to stay on this team. Brandon Clarke tonight, he only played 19 minutes. He had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. He shot 6 of 7 from the field. He is just a winning basketball player. Like I said, 19 points. Yet he was tied for the team lead in plus minus. 19 minutes. It was tied for the lead in plus minus for the Grizzlies with Santi Aldama, who I just said had virtually a point a minute. 29 points in 30 minutes, plus 25. Brandon Clarke, 19 minutes, plus 25. Brandon Clarke just does things that impact winning. This is not new news to Grizzlies fans, but I feel like, especially with the addition of Zach Edey in the offseason through the draft and the emergence of guys like Santi Aldama, a more traditional, longer, rangier big man, you just feel like Brandon Clarke was always the guy that we would be okay with trading. You know, I said in other trade talks in the past, even this season, as long as the trade doesn't go above the caliber of Brandon Clarke, I'll do it. I'm done putting Brandon Clarke just below the trade line. Okay. Like, he is absolutely valuable. He just does things well. And it's things that do not always pop out in the stat sheet. He gets countless tap backs for offensive rebounds. He's constantly cutting. You know, he doesn't have a 3-point shot. Brandon Clarke, fun fact, is shooting 6% from 3 this year. Luckily, he quit shooting them. But what does he do? He gets rebounds. He cuts well. He works well with Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant and Desmond Bane. And he doesn't take shots that he can't make. He is a floater, offensive rebound guy, cut to the basket guy, and just straight energy. Extremely high floor. Is he going to stretch the floor for you? No. But neither is Zach Edey. And Zach Edey stays in the way. I am pro give Brandon Clarke starting minutes and give him all of the minutes with Ja Morant. Brandon Clarke will not clog the paint for Ja Morant. And you've seen it time and time again, the chemistry that Ja has with Brandon Clarke, to where anytime that Ja drives, he knows that Brandon Clarke's coming in right behind him and they can find each other. There's just something so tangible and something that's so real that we've seen for multiple seasons that I have now found myself not being willing to trade him. Everybody has a price. Brandon Clarke has a price, even to me. But that price has gone up drastically in the last weeks. So Grizzlies win 140-112 over the San Antonio Spurs. The next game is Monday at 1:30 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Martin Luther King Jr. game, where they will be honoring Cheryl Miller and Amari Stoudemire and one other guy. I can't even remember his name. It's like Terry. I'm sorry. Sorry, Memphis fans. I'll do my research better next time. But the Grizzlies win 2 in a row against the Spurs. If this was a series in the playoffs, we'd need 2 more, but it's not. We go play Minnesota, or Minnesota comes to play us. So anyways, Uncle Buck of the 2 Buck Sports Show, recapping the big Grizzlies win 140-112 over the San Antonio Spurs. I hope everybody has a good weekend and stay safe. We'll see you again on Monday.